Hello beautiful people, how are you doing? You are welcome back to my channel. Like, I'm always excited to be back here all the time, any day, anytime. So my name is Chinyere Chichi for short, and I'm a fashion designer based in Lagos State, Nigeria. And on this channel, it's all about fashion, lifestyle, DIY, and of course and obviously some form of beauty, as you can see. And today guys, it's all about the making of this fabulous, elegant, classy, beautiful and trending Kaftan Bubu. Okay, this is like the latest Kaftan Bubu, and I am so loving it. Like, I am so in love with this dress. So I'm going to be showing us everything and anything it takes to get this Kaftan Bubu done in the most simplified way or method. So guys, without further ado, let us majestically, elegantly dive right into the video. The length of this fabric is 60 inches, which is fine for this style. Okay, so make sure you use a length of a fabric that has a long length so that it can accommodate the wideness of this dress. So the very first step to take, or the very first thing to do, is to place your fabric vertically on fold, just as you can see. So you fold it, and this folding enables you to first of all get the length of the dress. Okay, so you iron out the shoulder area this way, because the shoulder area does not have a joining, so you iron out just like this. This is to make it very easy for us to know where our shoulder is. Okay, if you don't have enough fabric, you can join, but preferably there is no joining at the shoulder area. And next, again, you fold again horizontally, just like this. Okay, so you have it folded out. So you have another place on fold. Remember, I said this is the shoulder area and this is the center fold, which I'm going to be ironing out again. Okay, so this style, you have to iron out almost every fold to make the job easier. So next, I'll be getting the length of the dress. The length of this dress is 60. Then I'll be adding, depending on how wide I want the edge fold to be, that's the fold at the down part. Depending on how wide I want it to be, that determines the allowance I'll be giving it at the edge. Okay, if I want it wide, then I'll add like 3 to 4. If I want it small, I can add like 2 inches. But for this one, I have an extra 4 inches, which is fine, because the wider the fold edge, the fold edge, the better. Okay, so next, I will be marking out all the vertical measurements, okay, which is the breast point, the under bust, the shoulder to hip, and the dress length. Okay, so here is the breast point. The breast point I'll be using is 10.5. The under bust, which is 14.5, which I might not likely use at the end of the day. The shoulder to hip, which is 27. The shoulder to the knee, which is 39. The shoulder to the knee, which is 39. And then finally we have the dress length. Okay, so the points again, we have the breast point, the under bust, which I might likely not use, the shoulder to hip, the shoulder to the knee, and then we have the dress length. And then coming to the upper part of the fabric, we're going to be getting our shoulder measurement. That's the horizontal measurement, and then the shoulder is going to be divided into 2. Okay, we have a shoulder of 15 inches, so I'll be dividing that into 2, which is going to give me 7.5. And here is the 7.5 point. Okay, so here is the shoulder measurement. And next, I'll be getting out the measurements for the pleats. Remember, this particular dress has 2 pleats. Okay, so I'll be marking out a measurement for those pleats. I'll be using a measurement of 10 inches because I do not want the pleats to be too bold. You can use 12, okay, but if you want to minimize the measurement, like, I think the smaller the pleats, the better, but not too small. Okay, so the 10 inches I'll be measuring would serve a purpose for the 2 pleats. At the end of the day, the 10 inches measurement is going to be divided into 2, which is 5 inches for each pleat. So here is the 10 inches measurement for the pleat, and we add an extra 10 inches again for the sleeve area. Please take note of all these points, very important. So I'm going to be measuring from this point to the center fold area. Whatever it gives me, I'm going to be marking it all the way to a certain length, not all the way down. Okay, it's going to stop somewhere at the hip area, so I'm going to be marking this. Gives me 27.5 inches, so I'm going to be marking this 27.5 inches all the way to the hip area. Okay, so coming down to the knee area, okay, this is the knee area point. I'm going to be dividing the hip into 4, then add an extra 10 inches. So the hip is 40 divided by 4, which is 10, plus an extra 10, giving me 20. And here is the 20 inches measurement, which I'm going to be marking all the way down to the dress length of this fabric. So this is my 20 inches measurement. Okay, so you can see we have this point and this point here, and we're going to be joining them with a curve to make it look like a cow dress. Okay, if you are familiar with that, you should know exactly what I mean by now. So this has given us like a cow shaped dress. And coming back to this part, okay, so the point I marked here, I'm going to be marking it all the way down. I'm going to be starting with the shoulder measurement, which gave me 7.5, remember? So I'm going to be marking this point all the way to the dress length. And guys, if at this point you haven't subscribed, please click on that subscribe button to be a family member, and put up your post notification bell to get notified whenever I put up a new video. The pleat measurement area, I'm going to be marking it all the way down to the dress length as well. So here is the shoulder measurement and the pleat area measurement marked all the way down. I'm going to be ironing out this point by the time I fold them. This is to make it very easy, for me to locate my point at every part of the fabric, so that by the time I turn over, okay, I'm not going to be marking, any point at the other side. Like, the ironing is going to give me all the points I need to work with. Okay. Remember, this part is for the pleat. This part will serve as the sleeve area, sorry. So this pleat area, I'm going to be dividing it into 2. I'm going to get in the midpoint, which is going to give me 5 inches, and I'm going to be marking it all the way down as well. Remember, this dress has a lot of divisions to be doing, so please take note carefully. So this is what I'll be doing next. All these points are marked out all the way down. I'm going to be folding them to get them ironed out. Okay, so this is to get all the points very, very visible for me. As you can see now, I have all the points ironed out, and this is going to reflect on all sides of this fabric. Okay, like I have here, I can see the iron part or the folded area at the back part as well. So before we fold our pleats, I'm going to be cutting out the body of the dress just like this. And next, I'll be marking out the neckline measurement. I'll be using the neckline of 2.5 inches wide by 1 inches depth. That is for the back. Okay, so this is the neckline measurement for the back, which I'll be cutting together with the front because the front is deeper, so I'll be cutting the back separately. So I notch the shoulder area this way, and opening it up, you can see that my ironed area is also showing at the other side of the fabric. So this is going to make the job a whole lot easier. So coming back to the neckline, coming back to the neckline, I'm going to be using a depth of 3 inches for the neckline because the neckline is a bit high, aside the opening at the center front. So I'll be using a total of 3 inches depth for the neckline. So I'll be marking out that point and then cutting it out just as you can see. So next I'll be opening up the opening we have at the front area. So depending on how deep you want the opening to be, so I'll be using a maximum of let's say 4 to 5 inches for the opening because I don't want the cleavage to be too exposed. So here is the opening, and then as you can see, we have our neckline neatly and perfectly marked out, and you can see what the dress is looking like already. You can see this is how wide the dress looks like, and you can see that all the ironing I was talking about, you can see that everything is visible on every side of the dress. So I'll be cutting out the facing for the neckline. I'll be using this particular fabric because I have it joined at the lower part of the dress already. So this particular color for the neckline is just going to be complementing what we have at the lower part of the dress already. So you mark out your neckline before cutting out, or you can cut out straight away, whichever one that it's easier for you to do. So for me, I'll be cutting out the neckline straight away. and then taking off the main dress. For this neckline, it's not going to be on the inner part of the dress, it's going to be on the outer part. That means it's going to serve more as a design. So I'm marking out what I want, or the shape I want for this particular neckline. I don't want like a regular, I just want to just beautify the neckline area. I'm going to be very creative with the neck area. I'm just going to be playing around the neck area just to give me a beautiful and creative look at the end of the day. So let me see what I can figure out with the neckline. Okay, okay, this is fine. I think I'm okay with this. So this is the neckline I'll be using for this dress. Obviously I cannot use this neckline and still turn it inside. Okay, so this is obviously going to be on the outside, so this is as a design on the dress. Okay, so this is the neckline I'll be using. I'm going to be putting stay. As you can see, I've already stayed it, and then I'll be folding out the necessary parts and then place it on the dress itself. So I'm going to be placing it on the dress like this. So this is what it's going to be looking like on the dress. You can see how beautiful it looks. So I've ironed out all the edges of the facing and then making it very easy for me to place on the dress. Okay, so the very next step is to stitch the neckline, that's the facing, on the dress itself. And this is what it looks like. I've stitched it down, and then I'll be turning it out to the right side of the dress. Okay, ordinarily a facing should be on the back part of that is the inner part of the dress, but because this is going to serve also as a design on the dress, I place it on the outer part. And guys, look at this beauty. Yeah, this is what I want. I do not just want it to be a plain neckline, just to give it a beautiful outlook at the end of the day. So all these points, like I said, you can see with the ironing, they are still very visible for me to work with. This is the shoulder, the pleat area, and all that. You can see them like very visible for me to still trace. Okay, and then even on the other side, they are still very visible because I've been able to iron them out, and that has made the job easier. So for the first pleat, which is 5 inches each, remember I said I divided it 10 inches into 2. So this is the first 5 inches for the pleat. I'm going to be folding it into 2. That is 2.5 inches. By the time I fold it, you can see the 2 points. Make sure they are well placed over each other this way. You can see this point that I'm using an office pin to make sure that the points are together. Okay, so this is our first 5 inches. I folded it into 2 this way to give me 2.5 on each side. So I'm going to be tracing the fold all the way from one end to the other. Okay, and with that, I'm moving straight to the sewing machine to get it stitched. And guys, you can see I've already stitched the first pleat area on both sides. I'm sure you can see that already. Okay, so here are the first pleat on both sides of the dress. You can see that. Okay, you can also see the other pleat. So this is our first pleat done and dusted. So coming back to complete the pleat, which is the second one. So the next 5 inches, okay, as you can see, this is the ironed part of the folded area. I'm going to be using that to fold to get our second pleat. Okay, so this is the second pleat as well. Remember, it is 5 inches, that is 2.5 inches by the time I hold it this way. But this second pleat, you are not going to be folding the 2.5 inches all the way down. You can see how the pleating has disappeared at this point of this dress. Okay, it's not going to be getting to the length of the dress just like the first one. Okay, so as you are folding it down, the pleating is disappearing gradually up until this very point where the pleating is not going to be visible anymore. And guys, we have our 2 pleats well and neatly stitched and ironed. Okay, so here is our pleat. You can see on both sides we have our pleat, very beautiful. So here is our 4 pleats, that is 2 pleats on each side. And this is what the pleat looks like, taking a closer look. And here, and here is the sleeve area, okay, which we are here to work on. So this is the lower part of the pleat. You can see how the second pleat disappeared somewhere at the knee area. Okay, so here is it. And guys, yeah, the next thing is for us to work on the sleeve area. Okay, and then complete the joining at the end of the day. So for the sleeve area, I'm going to be using an armhole length of 10.5 inches because I don't want the opening of this dress to be too wide. That's the armhole opening to be too wide. I'm going to be using 10.5 inches for the armhole opening. Okay, and then for the armhole stitching, okay, I'm not going to be making the stitch like very tiny. Okay, this is to complement the wideness of the pleat. So the first thing for the armhole area is going to be about 2.5 inches to 3 inches wide. And by the time we are done with the sleeve, then we can now cover up this lower part. And guys, after the facing is being stitched, this is what it looks like. You can see how wide it is because I do not want any stitching or anything to be looking tiny on the outer part of the dress, you know, this way. And then I iron out the facing just as you can see. And for this facing, at this point I don't think I want to stitch it down because I don't want any thread or any stitching to be visible at the right side. So I'm going to be using a hemming gum to hold it down. Okay, I'm going to be using a hemming gum to hold it down just like this. This is just to give me that very neat and smart finishing at the end of the day. So guys, we have our armhole done, we have the side stitched down, and guys, this is what our Kaftan Bubu is looking like at the end of the day. Guys, the making of this dress might look very difficult, but folding everything and ironing out all your folds this way is going to make everything very seamless for you. So you can see how neat our armhole area is looking like. There is no stitching at the outer part, and everything is still looking very beautiful and neat. And finally is to fold the lower part of our dress this way. Okay, I'm going to be using 4 inches like I said, and then you stitch the slit area this way. So for the stitch, it depends on how wide or how long you want it to be, so it's at your own discretion for the length of the opening of the slit. And by the time we are done holding the slit area and then the edge of our dress is ready. And guys, the beauty piece is finally ready. This is so beautiful, guys. Can you check this out? Like, look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Oh gosh, I am gushing over this dress. Oh my god, can you see that, guys? This is so beautiful. Like, I can't just get enough of this dress. So guys, thank you for your time. See you in my next video. Please do not forget to subscribe, not forget to like. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to put up your post notification bell to get notified whenever I put up a new video. Bye.